Who are you meeting with? Be nice.
Steve, you're just
Do it
no one wants you in the shoot.
I don't. Okay, no.
Get out of here and go. Get the out of here and go. No one wants you in the shoot. I'm planning it.
Kim wants it around her schedule.
Do you know what we're fighting about? There are people
per day.
Maybe if you had a business that you were passionate about, then you would know what it takes to run a business, but you don't. So don't even act like you know what I'm talking about.
For years, Kourtney Kardashian was painted as the difficult one, the lazy sister, the black sheep of the Kardashian empire. Viewers watched her clash with Kim, argue about filming schedules, and push back against the family's non-stop hustle mentality. She said she wanted to focus on her children. She said she didn't want cameras dictating her life. She said reality TV wasn't worth sacrificing her peace. And what happened? She got dragged. Kim openly criticized her work ethic. Khloe accused her of not pulling her weight. Kris Jenner worried about the show's future. The media labeled Kourtney ungrateful. Fans called her boring. There was even that explosive physical fight between Kim and Kourtney that became one of the most unforgettable moments in reality TV history. But now, the tables have turned. Suddenly, Kim Kardashian, the sister who once accused Kourtney of being the least interesting to look at, is reportedly considering stepping back from the very show she defended so fiercely. And the internet cannot ignore the irony. Sources claim Kim is overwhelmed. Between running multiple businesses, raising 4 children, studying law, managing brand partnerships, and pursuing new television opportunities, she's realizing something shocking. There are only 24 hours in a day. And isn't that exactly what Kourtney tried to say years ago? When Kourtney asked to scale back filming to prioritize motherhood, she was treated like she was sabotaging the family brand. Now Kim is asking for the same grace and reportedly receiving support instead of criticism. The contrast is impossible to ignore. Back then, stepping away meant you were lazy. Now, stepping away means you're booked and busy. The hypocrisy is loud. What makes it even more dramatic is timing. Kim's children are reaching the same age as Kourtney's kids were when she first started pushing back against overexposure. Kourtney worried about the long-term effects of growing up on camera. She feared it would impact her kids' mental health and sense of privacy. At the time, that sounded dramatic to some today. It sounds prophetic. And let's not forget another major shift. Kourtney doesn't need the show anymore after marrying Travis Barker. Her financial security became even more solidified. Between her own fortune and Travis's success in the music industry, she gained something powerful: independence from the Kardashian machine. Travis reportedly encouraged her to focus on family and building something meaningful together, rather than constantly filming. That kind of freedom changes everything, because once you no longer depend on the empire, you're no longer controlled by it. And that realization may have shaken the Kardashian Foundation more than anyone wants to admit. Now, as Kim considers reducing her involvement, it feels less like evolution and more like history repeating itself. Except this time, the roles are reversed. The former rebel is now vindicated, and the former Queen Bee might be facing her most vulnerable era yet. So why is Kim really stepping back? Officially, it's about balance. She's juggling too much. She's pursuing law. She's developing a new scripted TV project reportedly connected to Kenya Barris, the creator behind shows like Blackish. She's building her Skims empire. She's raising her kids. On paper, it sounds ambitious, but critics are asking a tougher question. Is this really about growth, or is it about survival? Reality television isn't what it used to be. The cultural dominance it had 10 years ago has faded. Streaming platforms have changed viewer habits. Audiences crave authenticity, but also burn out faster. And while the Kardashian brand still generates headlines, it doesn't dominate pop culture the way it once did. The hype has cooled. Kim built her empire on constant exposure. Cameras rolling, social media buzzing, red carpets flashing. That over the past few years, cracks have started to show. Her highly public divorce from Kanye West brought unpredictable headlines. Kanye's public controversies forced Kim into damage control mode. she maintained composure, but the situation inevitably impacted her image. Then came the Pete Davidson relationship, highly publicized, widely debated, and ultimately, for some, it felt like a rebound. For others, it shifted her public perception in ways she couldn't control. In Hollywood, perception is currency, and once that flawless aura begins to dim, brands notice. Luxury fashion houses target youth markets, primarily the 18 to 35 demographic. That's where the spending power lives. That's where trends are born and monetized. Kim is still undeniably famous, but she's no longer the fresh face of the moment. That spotlight has subtly shifted. Kylie Jenner speaks directly to Gen Z. Kendall thrives in high fashion circles. They embody youth culture in a way that feels current. Kim, on the other hand, is transitioning into legacy status. There's nothing wrong with legacy, but in fashion. Legacy isn't always where the biggest contracts go. Brands chase what feels new, what feels now, and that's why some critics believe this acting pivot isn't random. It might be strategic repositioning. If reality TV loses power, Kim needs a new platform. Scripted television offers something reality doesn't: prestige, respectability, distance from personal drama. But here's the challenge. Acting is an entirely different craft. Great actors disappear into roles. They transform. The audience forgets who they are watching. Kim has one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. When she appears on screen, viewers see Kim Kardashian first, character second. That's not necessarily a flaw. It's a branding paradox. Her fame is both her greatest asset and her biggest obstacle. So the question becomes, can she successfully transition from reality icon to respected actress? Or will audiences struggle to separate the celebrity from the character? If the scripted projects succeed, it opens a new chapter. If they flop, she may find herself returning to the very reality spotlight she's trying to soften. And behind the TED scenes, Kris Jenner is likely calculating every move. Because if Kim scales back, the family show loses its central pillar. Kourtney has already distanced herself. Kylie and Kendall rarely prioritize filming. Khloe carries emotional storylines. But even she is reportedly exploring spin dash-offs. If Kim pulls away significantly, the structure shifts. And the Kardashian empire was built on visibility, without constant visibility. Relevance becomes harder to sustain. Here's the bigger picture. The Kardashian dynasty already experienced its peak cultural dominance. The early seasons were explosive. The brand partnerships were groundbreaking. Social media revolved around them, but no empire remains at its peak forever. Every season since that golden era has faced higher expectations and more critical viewers. Audiences are savvier. They question authenticity. They analyze storylines. They recognize production manipulation. The mystique isn't as strong as it once was. So when Kim talks about stepping back, it doesn't just signal personal exhaustion. It signals structural vulnerability. Because reality TV thrives on chaos, drama, unfiltered emotion, messy fights, raw moments. Polished perfection doesn't generate ratings. Ironically, Kourtney understood that earlier than anyone. She saw the cost. She felt the burnout. She prioritized her mental health and her children. She was mocked for it. Now, years later, the family is facing the exact crossroads she predicted. Will they continue chasing relevance through drama? Or will they pivot into something more sustainable? Kim attempting to balance law school, business, motherhood. And scripted acting may be admirable, but it also reveals pressure. Pressure to evolve. Pressure to stay iconic. Pressure to avoid fading into background noise. Hollywood is ruthless. It worships youth, then moves on quickly. Reinvention isn't optional. It's necessary. But reinvention always carries risk. If Kim successfully transitions into a more polished, professional figure, lawyer, actress, business mogul, she could redefine her legacy. If not, the Kardashian empire could slowly lose the dominance it once held. And what about Kourtney? The first time in years, she appears content, private, focused on family, less reactive, less invested in proving herself. She doesn't need the validation anymore, and that might be the ultimate plot twist. The sister, once labeled difficult, may have been the most self-aware all along. So now we're left with the ultimate question. Is this the beginning of the Kardashian decline, or simply another strategic reinvention? Can Kris Jenner keep the machine running if the cameras aren't rolling 24/7? Will Kim's next chapter elevate her or expose the fragility of fame built on constant exposure? And will history finally give Kourtney credit for seeing it first? One thing is certain. This family has mastered survival, but even the strongest empires must evolve or risk collapse. And right now, we may be witnessing the most pivotal transition in Kardashian history.